It sounds almost unbelievable. Police afraid to arrest abusers.
Unfortunately, that's real and puts the lives of domestic violence victims at risk. But tonight, On Your Side investigator Sarah Buttison uncovers a way to close that loophole in Ohio's protection order system.
Victims are 70 times more likely to be murdered when they leave their abusers. But we found the state is missing a valuable tool that could save lives.
I would wake up in bed and see a shadow of him standing over me.
Jane's estranged husband is so violent.
And he would punch me in the head and tell me that only whores sleep.
Or changing her name and hiding her identity.
He used to even shove the card of the person that he said that he hired to kill me in my face.
Because after years of abuse, she finally left him.
And tell me, this is who's going to see you die.
Jane got a protection order.
It was presented to me as almost if it was my armor.
After all, when her husband violates the order, police are supposed to arrest him. But these police reports we obtained show as he stalked her at work, at home, even at the grocery store. Her cries for help went unanswered.
How many times has he been arrested?
0.
It's not a perfect system.
Michael Kilbane is the police chief in Independence.
Unfortunately, it does a disservice to the victims. The entire purpose of those protection orders is to protect the victim of a crime from any further violence, any further harassment.
To understand what's wrong in Ohio, you have to go to West Virginia, where a murder changed their mindset.
I ask Alicia and God to forgive me every day.
In 2008, Desmond Clark shot and killed his teenage girlfriend inside this Taco Bell. It turned out a police officer had pulled over the couple earlier that day, but he didn't know Nelisha Gravely had a protective order, fearing Clark would kidnap her.
People would say, well, it's just a piece of paper. Well, I thought it's just a piece of paper until someone knows about it.
Meet Angela Saunders.
We were really actually asking victims to protect themselves.
She spearheaded the effort to change that in West Virginia. She found, like it is in Ohio, courts and cops weren't communicating.
We just had these silos built up.
Officers couldn't verify orders after courthouses closed.
And what the problem was is that mainly domestic violence doesn't happen 9 to 5.
So she helped create what's known as a protection order registry.
You don't have to have every little bell and whistle in there. It's not about how pretty it looks.
It's a database that includes a scanned copy of every order and is available to every law enforcement officer.
So like Googling something.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar to that right there.
Like Corporal Tony Crego.
You pull this up and that's all you need to make an arrest.
Exactly.
West Virginia's not unusual. On Your Side investigators talked to officials in all 50 states. We found 29 have protection order registries or something similar.
Before the registry, to be honest with you, a lot of times officers would not enforce protective orders.
What stopped them? Fear of making a mistake.
Are officers more concerned about making a bad arrest than protecting a victim?
I think a lot of times, yes. As bad as it sounds, the courts tend to favor the defendants. The courts tend to favor the protection of the defendant's rights more than the safety of a victim. And officers are aware of that.
Limit the liability of the police officers so, we don't in turn end up getting sued for false arrest.
That's how it still is in Ohio. Officers so afraid of getting sued, they only arrest abusers when they can confirm the order. So how do they do that? They have to call the court clerks.
Sometimes there's some delay with court systems or clerks getting back to us.
In the meantime, victims are left hanging.
They are.
Victims like Jane. In March, she called Independence Police after her husband harassed her. The officer who responded tried to help. He called Cleveland, then Cuyahoga County. No one could confirm her order. Jane's husband went free again.
I was told by one individual it's a piece of paper. And that's exactly what it's been.
Today, he's still on the streets.
Do you feel safe?
Never. Never.
And still stalking her.
Because I don't know what safe means any longer.
After we started asking questions, independents took another look at Jane's cases. Her husband was arrested for violating her protection order 6 months after her initial call for help. On your side, I'm investigator Sarah Buttison, News 5.